Ready to go? Ready to go to work?
So welcome back, everybody. As you can see, me, Tiffany, and Ruger are loaded up. As the title says, we have a splitter, we're willing to travel. We need to take care of some problem trees over at the property where we're getting ready to build a home, and our firewood racks are empty. Let's get after it. Well, welcome back to the river property, everybody. So here's what's on today's agenda. So you can see where these white flags are right here. We've been marking out the layout for the house. We just had to do some soil testing right here. And while we're here looking around, we got to thinking, you know, some of these big, beautiful trees we're obviously gonna leave. So as I'm looking around, say the house is gonna be in this area, I'm seeing problems. Not only do we have multiple oaks over here that the tops are blown completely out, then we've got dead oaks that I'm already seeing rotten holes in the bottom. That's coming down probably next big windstorm. Let's get it today. And then I'm looking at stuff like this oak over here that has major rot, major issues. That's not a safe tree to have by the house. I can look way up in there. It's completely hollow all the way through. This is also gonna be a very dangerous tree to cut because you can't predict which way it's gonna fall. I may do something I don't normally do, cut the tree up high, since we know this is all rotten, and then I'll come back and cut this off at the base. We'll grind that stump down later. So that's on the agenda today. Tiffany and I decided to come over and have a little work day because it's just only getting hotter and hotter. I see 90 degrees in the forecast for us. So we're over here early. We want to get all this work done. Plus, we had a lot of fires over here this winter. We are completely out of firewood. Well, almost. See, our firewood racks are empty. Tiffany's taking the last of our dry wood and putting it in a tote that we have, and we want to put all our green wood in these today, so it can season and we can use it again this fall. All right, weapon of choice, y'all. My little portable setup. I've got my new Solus H24 Plus. Love this tractor. And this is actually the first time I've ever run a log splitter on it. I had the previous model of this run this log splitter right here, and it did awesome. This is my American CLS tractor splitter. Actually, I'm demoing this unit. I personally own their animal, but this is Mr. Larry's. He's left with me for a while, and it has turned out to be one sweet portable setup. Y'all don't forget, I put a 20 gallon a minute pump on this a while back, swapped it out from the 11 gallon a minute. Wait till y'all see how fast this thing is today. We're just gonna run the 4-way wedge on it, and we're gonna blast through the wood. Not good. we are wrapping this thing up. It has been a long, hot, sweaty day. I wish it was over there. I gotta go home and do some more work, but thank goodness it's been cloudy. If it was sunny, it would be miserable over here right now. Oh my goodness. So y'all, talk about a sweet little package. That little tractor did great as expected, but this splitter is insane. I cannot get over how fast it is, especially having that higher gallon a minute pump on it right there. It was outrunning us. We could have run a third person easy. It was definitely outpacing me and Tiffany both. Super fast, and I didn't even have the tractor revved all the way up, or it could have went faster. So we got those rotten trees out of the way. Y'all, every single tree I cut had a rotten center. It was coming down regardless at a certain point anyways. That's what happens when the tops blows out of them, creates a hollow cavity for the rain to just start going down in it, and stuff gets rotten on you. Let y'all in on a little something. I was just over there cutting off one of the stumps flush with the ground because I'm gonna come back and grind them. And when I reached around to grab the stump and move it out of the way, I grabbed, Tiffany don't even know this, I grabbed a king snake. Yeah, I grabbed a king snake. Well, apparently we got them everywhere over here. We got one that stays up underneath the barn. Every time we lift something up, it's a baby one. That one was quite a bit bigger, but not huge by no means. But when I grabbed it, luckily I grabbed it in the middle as it was trying to go down in that hollow tree hole. I was like, oh my goodness, and I had to look. I was like, okay, red on black, friend of Jack. Took me a second to figure out it wasn't a coral snake. All right, trees gone, problem trees gone that could potentially hit the house. Area is cleaned up, and we've already got a heck of a jump on next year's firewood. We went ahead and split it in larger pieces than normal because we're gonna have a stove in the house, so we may use some of this, but it also doesn't matter. We got a big 40-inch fire pit over there, so, and it's not picky, it'll burn whatever it needs. Went ahead and filled this rack up as well as y'all seen, and just about have this tote filled back up. We still got a little bit of seasoned wood down there, so if we come over the next few weeks and decide we want to fire before it gets too hot, we got the option to do that. What you think, buddy? You ready to go home? I know you are. You ready to go get in your pool? Yeah. All right, y'all, this was something that definitely needed to be done. You don't need to start building the house and then look around and realize you have hollow cavity, rotten trees everywhere that could potentially blow down on it. Plus, made some firewood for us. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We'll catch you on the next one.